I was wanting to tell a story or let you tell it, but I'd be putting you on the spot.
I know exactly what story.
I got to tell this story
Because
the first time we ever met, I almost didn't believe it. I thought this motherfucker is full of shit. And I fell in love with you. I was joking about that because I actually did believe you, but bitch is crazy. So you have a felony.
Two
of them.
Yeah.
Oh, from the same time, or did you do something else since then?
Same time.
Okay.
And I almost had a DUI.
No, you did have a DUI. You got out of it.
It got reduced.
So I'll tell you that story first. So we go on St. Patty's Day a long time ago, and I had a sailboat at the time. So I didn't have to drive back and forth. I had a sailboat. We could just stay on the sailboat because it was down there. We can just take taxis and be responsible. So I'm asleep on my sailboat at like 4 o'clock in the morning, and I get, I didn't get the text messages until the next morning. I seen that they came through, and I wake up the next morning and see all these messages that were hard to interpret. And apparently it was because you were typing behind your back.
I was in handcuffs, and
in the back of a patrol car.
That was the easy part. The hard part was getting the phone out of my pocket while I was handcuffed behind my back.
So you're in the back of a patrol car, which is cramped. Your handcuffs behind you. You figure out a way. I'm trying to do this, by the way. I have no idea. Are you a contortionist?
Like I could cut my eyes and just barely see my phone enough to like.
But you were drunk.
Oh yeah.
So that made it easier.
Yeah.
So you didn't feel a bunch of pain.
Yeah.
So you're probably bleeding at the wrists. You've dislocated your shoulder, right, to get this thing over here. And you get this phone out, and you're texting people for what? To come bail you out? You're still in the back of the car.
Yeah.
Okay. So I was hammered myself.
I knew I was going. That's why. People.
So I apologize for not responding. I was asleep. But, yeah, the next day I realized, Gary got arrested on St. Patty's Day. That's a fun night, though.
It was an awesome night. Got my first gay bar experience. That was
incredible.
That was so much fun. That was probably the best bar I've ever been to. I mean, it was so fun. Play.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
The drag show.
Yeah. Yeah, a country boy from Hickman County fit right in.
It was awesome. It was awesome.
So I want to tell the story. I'll let you tell the story. So when I met you, one of the first stories, I don't know if I got out of you or how it came up, but I'm an inquisitive guy. You know, I want to get to know my new coworkers because you was new. You was new on the shift. I don't know, what did we work? Third shift?
Third shift.
And you told this incredible story, and I may have to fill in a few holes because I remembered it maybe a little bit more theatrically than you're going to tell it. Because in my mind, you come in guns a-blazing, and you shooting sideways.
It was guns blazing.
Yes.
It was definitely...
I hate that we have to tell us in the end of the story, but go ahead.
Well,
do you mind telling it?
I don't mind telling it.
Okay, cool.
I mean, it is part what it is. Part of life.
Yep.
It's my past. I can't change it.
Yep.
Okay.
You were young.
So, yeah, I was young. 23, 4 anyways. So I was married. My wife was running around on me.
Mm-hmm.
She got with this guy that she worked with, and she was seeing him, whatever. Well, me and her had gotten into it.
Y'all separated.
We separated. She was living with her mother. I was still living in our house. Mm-hmm. So I go over. She calls me to come over. I go over to see her. We have sex, whatever. And she says something about that guy, and for whatever reason, it pissed me off.
Yeah.
So I go outside and I kick the fuck out of the side of her car, and her mom's neighbor calls the cops.
I don't blame you. That pissed me off too. After having this romantic experience,
yeah, because I
would word it rather than just having sex.
I thought she wants to get back together, you know.
Yeah.
But whatever. So I go to jail for domestic violence because I kicked her car.
Yeah.
Which is stupid.
Yeah.
12-hour hold. I get out 12 hours later. I try to call her, can't get a hold of her because at this point I haven't seen my kids in like 2 days. And what we were doing at the time when we were split up, she would have them one day, I would have them the next, so every other day. So I hadn't seen my kids in like 2 days. So I call her, can't get a hold of her, and I end up calling her mom. And her mom answers the phone. She's like, "Yeah, well, I know you don't want to hear this, but she didn't come home." And I said, "Okay, well, you call her. She'll answer for you. You call her and beg for her to let me see my kids. That's all I want." So she calls her up. And of course she did. She answered for her mom. And they talk, and I'm like, "Here, let me talk to her." So I get on the phone and talk to her, and she's like, "No, you're not going to see your kids. You know, I got too much shit to do, blah, 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 whatever." And at this point, the guy she's messing around with gets on the phone. And his exact words were, "Hey, buddy, let me tell you something. As long as I'm around, you ain't never going to see your fucking kids again."
Yeah.
And I said, "That's it." So I drove.
I believe I would have reacted the exact same way.
So I drove home. And so it wasn't about, a lot of people think it's about, I shot this son of a bitch because
Don't jump out of the chronological order.
I go home, I get my pistol, and I told my mother-in-law, I said, "You tell me where the motherfucker lives right now."
Your mother-in-law loves you, by the way. I remember you bought her a recliner.
She loved
You've done
me
a
to
lot for her,
death.
even to this day. I mean, like
Well,
the
she-
last time we were together, like hanging out.
Yeah,
you
well,
was-
she ended up passing away.
oh,
Like,
okay.
I was still working at Nissan.
Yeah.
She got cancer and
Okay.
died. But anyways, yeah, she loved me to death. She always called me her only son-in-law. She said, "You're like a blood son to me."
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, so I go home after she tells me where he lives. I go home and get my pistol.
What'd you have? Tell me what. 38?
A little Taurus 38 special,
Okay.
snub nose.
Yeah.
It was awesome. Wasn't good for shit, but shooting somebody from here to there.
It definitely wasn't good for shooting across the room.
And no.
Okay.
So I go over there, and I remember the first thing I did is I knocked on the door with I pistol whipped the fucking door. It was glass, and I remember cracking the fucking. And I was like, and I thought to myself, that wasn't good enough. So I rear back and kicked the fuck out of the door, and this door comes flying open. And when it flies open, I
Is
see
this a trailer?
yeah, it's
like those flimsy-ass trailer
it's
doors?
a little shitty, like 70s model single wide trailer.
Yeah.
So I kicked this motherfucker open, and first thing I see is him standing in the kitchen. And I just draw the pistol, and I'm so mad I don't even think to aim. I just draw this fucking pistol, and I just start popping off caps. And this motherfucker runs down the hallway of this trailer towards his bedroom,
Yeah.
and I don't see him anymore. And I'm standing there in the fucking hallway and in the living room, like right inside the front door, and I'm so like pissed off that I don't know what to do. In my hand, I'm like holding the gun down by my side, and my finger's still on the trigger. I'm so fucking mad. I pull the trigger and shoot into the floor right beside my foot, and I'm like, God damn, that could have been my foot. Well, then this dude's stepdad comes out of the bedroom, and he said, hey, you get out of my house with that shit. And I put the gun right in his face, and I said, best thing you can do is go back where you come from. I'll shoot your fucking ass too. I didn't have any bullets, but that's what I told him.
Yeah.
And he's like, yo, all right, I'm gone.
Now you end up hitting the guy, right?
I hit
Grazing him.
I hit him in his left arm,
Okay.
and it went plumb through his upper part of his left
Yeah.
arm. And when he was running, it came out and fucking hit him in the wrist.
So you shot him.
I got him. I got a 2-for-1 on that bitch.
Oh God.
So
This is Hickman County, though.
Yeah.
Just so people know, this is a different way of life. You're a different person.
I'm a different person now
You
than
still
I
do
am
it again,
then.
though.
I don't know if I would or not.
Not now.
I don't know if I would or not.
I don't know. You're being faced with not being able to see your boys. I tell you, you would never want to get between me and my boys.
But you know, a lot of people think I done it because she was cheating on me. And
Yeah.
has
I mean, that may have pissed you off, but then a man get on there and say you ain't
Yeah.
gonna see your fucking kids.
He said, as long as I'm around,
Yeah.
I'm going to make sure your ass ain't around.
Yeah.
You know? So, anyway, I go to.
Did you leave?
I left and went back home, and
You just went home, and wait for the cops to come get you. You knew this coming.
I knew they was coming. And
Did you know he was going to survive? Did you
I
even know
did-
he was hit?
I did not know he was hit, and I didn't know anything.
Yeah, you just know he was running.
So
the
I
last
got-
time you seen him.
So I go home. My brother's best friend is a detective for the sheriff's department, so he calls me. He's like, "Hey, they're parked at the end of my driveway, long driveway. You need to come on out." And I'm like, "Jimmy, I'm not coming out. I'm sorry, I'm not coming out." So then this other detective calls me, and he gets me on the phone. And, you know, me and him's talking. He's like, "Look, we got the SWAT team on the way." I said, "Yeah, I ain't got no fucking SWAT team. It's a Hickman County." He goes, "Son, we have a SWAT team." I said, and he said, "They're on the way." I said, "Well, when they come through this door, I'm shooting every one of them motherfuckers too." 'Cause I was still mad, you know. But anyways,
yeah.
he talked me down, and I got the whole experience of what you see on TV, where they're like, "Get on the fucking ground," you know.
Was there any flashbangs?
No, there was no
They wasn't no
flashbangs.
damn SWAT team then.
So no, it was a state trooper.
they
That was,
lighting firecrackers.
it was a state. Yeah.
M80s.
It was a state trooper that had his pistol drawn on me, and he's like, "Get on the fucking ground," which was terrible because I had to get on my gravel driveway on my knees, which hurt. And
You know, you remember things like that because your senses are at their highest level. And I hear that people can remember smells and like little intricate details because it's life or death.
yeah.
So yeah, you remembering the damn gravels, but then again, you're kind of a pissy motherfucker anyway, and I can hear you. But the gravels hurt.
That's what I told him. I said, this shit hurts.
Go ahead.
But they, of course, they haul me off to jail, and I go through the whole, what you see on TV, the interrogation, and with the detectives and all this stuff. And I'm sitting here like, man, I don't know what's going to happen. They tell me that I did hit him and he's going to live, and I'm like, okay.
Damn.
I do feel better about my sentence, maybe. I don't know. So I sat in jail for a year. My dad hires a lawyer for me. Because if not, I would have had one of those public defenders, and I'd have been really screwed.
Yeah.
So he hires a lawyer, and I'm in jail for exactly 1 year to the day before I go
It's about all they can hold you in jail.
and sign my plea agreement.
Yeah.
So I go sign this plea agreement, and they're like, my lawyer comes in to talk to me. He's like, well, I had him talked into 8 years, but his family's out there raising hell, and they won't do anything less than 10. He's like, so you sign it now or you go to trial and you're going to be fucked. I'm telling you. Okay. So I signed 10 years at 30%, which means
What age were you?
23 or 4.
25, 23 years old. You're facing 10 years.
Yeah.
Luckily, the guy didn't die.
Luckily.
you're a shitty aim
Yeah.
when you're upset. With a
Luckily.
snub nose.
Luckily.
And he was in a 12-foot wide trailer, so he couldn't have been more than 12 feet from you.
Yeah.
So you are a shitty shot.
So anyways, I signed the plea agreement, and I'm like, man, here I go. I'm going straight to state prison, But the sheriff that we have, I went to high school with his daughter, and me and her were real good friends, and we used to smoke pot together and skip school together. Like, not just me and her. It was like me and her and a whole group of people.
Whoever thought pot would have bailed you out?
So,
Like having
Yeah.
experiences with weed. I see,
Yeah,
Dad,
exactly.
it paid off.
exactly.
Yeah.
If I never would have smoked pot with her.
Yeah.
But her dad was the sheriff, and she talked to her dad, and, he's such a really good guy. So they kept me around at the jail and made me a trustee. And, dude, I worked my way up through the trustee ranks. I was washing dishes, cooking, washing clothes, and I finally made it to the best job they have. I also worked out on the city garbage truck, the city maintenance, public works crew. Done all kind of shitty jobs after I become trustee. But then I got the primo, which was the sheriff's secretary. I was her errand boy, which they call it the courier job. The jail and the courthouse were like 2 blocks from each other, so I got to courier paperwork back and forth from the courthouse to the jail. And then I got to go to the post office, which was about 2 miles away every day. I could go to the grocery store, the little gas station down the block. I could go there anytime I wanted.
So they gave you an opportunity.
They gave me an opportunity. And because of that opportunity, I ended up making parole my first time. And I did awesome, man. I was on parole almost my whole entire rest of my time. And me and her got back together when I got out of jail, believe it or not. Actually, while I was still in jail, we worked things out.
That probably turned her on. You'd be willing to go over and shoot a man.
Maybe so.